Hello, and welcome back to Miss Julia's English Club. I'm your host, Leila, and today I'm going to start differently. No big, energetic intro, no, oh my goodness, what a story. Because the story we're discussing today deserves something quieter, something more careful.
Hey everyone, I'm Sam, and Leila, yeah, I completely agree. When you first sent me the headline this week, I sat there for a moment. I didn't know what to say.
Because sometimes a story hits you not just as news, but as something human, something that makes you think about the children in your life, your siblings, your students, your own school days. And this week, that story is Turkey.
This week, Turkey experienced 2 school shootings in the space of 48 hours. 2, in a country where school shootings are almost unheard of, where gun laws are among the strictest in the world. And the shock in Turkey and around the world has been profound.
Profound. That's the right word. Not just sad, not just shocking. Profound, meaning it touches something very deep, something fundamental about how we think about safety, about childhood, about the world we're building for young people.
So let's talk about what happened. And we'll do it carefully, because this involves children. And children deserve care, even in how we discuss the things that harm them.
The first shooting happened on April 14th in a town called Severik in southeastern Turkey. A 19-year-old former student entered a vocational high school and opened fire. 16 people were injured before the attacker took his own life.
And then, 28 hours later, before the country had even had time to grieve, to breathe, to process, another shooting, this time in Kahramanmaraş, in south-central Turkey. A 14-year-old student entered his own middle school and opened fire. 9 people were killed. 8 of them were students. 1 was a teacher, a mathematics teacher named Ayla Kara, who, by all accounts, tried to shield her students from the bullets.
A teacher who put herself between a gun and her students. I want to stay with that for a moment because that is an extraordinary act of courage in the most terrifying possible moment.
It is. It really is. And her name deserves to be said. Ayla Kara, a mathematics teacher. Okay.
So, Turkey is in shock. Teacher unions called nationwide strikes. There were protests in the streets. Across social media in Turkey, the question being asked over and over is how? How did this happen here?
Because Turkey really does have strict gun laws. To legally own a gun in Turkey, you need to be at least 21 years old, pass medical clearance, pass criminal background checks, obtain a license. The process is rigorous, genuinely rigorous.
And yet, a 14-year-old had access to a gun, which raises immediate questions about where it came from, how it got into his hands, whether the legal framework, however strict on paper, is actually functioning in practice.
On paper versus in practice. That's such an important distinction. And it's one that comes up in policy debates all over the world. A law is only as strong as its enforcement.
Enforcement, meaning actually making sure the law is followed, checking, monitoring, acting when something goes wrong. A law with no enforcement is just words on a page.
And beyond the gun question, which is critically important, there's a wider conversation happening in Turkey right now about youth mental health, about violence in schools, about whether children are receiving the support they need. Because this didn't come out of nowhere.
No, and investigations revealed that the 14-year-old shooter had actually written a document on his computer weeks before the attack, indicating he was planning something, which is heartbreaking in a very specific way because it suggests there were signs, and the signs weren't caught.
Weren't caught or acted on. And that's a failure, not necessarily of any one person, but of systems, of support structures, of the way we do or don't look after the mental well-being of young people.
And I think this is the conversation that needs to happen everywhere, not just in Turkey, because Turkey's shootings this week have prompted people in countries all over the world to ask, are our schools safe? Are our children safe? Are we paying enough attention to what young people are going through?
And the answers, in many places, are uncomfortable. Because mental health services for young people are underfunded almost everywhere. Waiting lists for counseling and therapy stretch for months. Teachers, who were often the first people to notice something is wrong, are overworked and undersupported.
Undersupported. Teachers carry so much. They're educators, yes, but they're also often the adults who notice when a child is struggling, who step in, who try to help. And they do this while managing 30 other children, endless administrative demands, and in many countries, wages that don't reflect that responsibility.
And Ayla Kara, the teacher who tried to shield her students, is in some terrible way the embodiment of what we ask of teachers, to not just teach, but to protect, even with their own bodies.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring this back to what we can do on this podcast, because I want our listeners to be able to talk about stories like this, to discuss them thoughtfully, respectfully in English. This is the kind of conversation that happens in the real world, in classrooms, in workplaces, at dinner tables.
And being able to engage with it in a second language is a sign of real fluency, real English, not just grammar, not just vocabulary, but the ability to discuss things that matter, things that hurt, things that are complicated.
So let's go through our vocabulary, carefully.
Profound. Reaching deep into the core of something, having a very strong, deep effect. The shock was profound.
Rigorous. Very thorough and careful, demanding high standards. Turkey has rigorous gun laws, on paper.
Enforcement. The act of making sure rules and laws are followed. Enforcement of the law was not effective.
On paper versus in practice. That's such an important distinction, and it's one that comes up in policy debates all over the world. A law is only as strong as its enforcement.
Underfunded. Not given enough money to function properly. Mental health services for young people are chronically underfunded.
Counseling. Professional support provided to help someone deal with emotional or psychological difficulties. Access to school counseling is critical.
Embodiment. To be a perfect example of something, she was the embodiment of dedication and courage.
Warning signs. Signals that indicate something dangerous or wrong is developing. Warning signs were not acted upon.
And our idiom today, words on a page, used to describe a rule or policy that exists officially but has no real impact. Without enforcement, a law is just words on a page.
A powerful set of words for a heavy topic, all of them useful in academic essays, in professional conversations, in IELTS and Cambridge exams, and in real life.
Today's comment challenge, and I want you to think carefully before you write. Here it is. Do you think schools in your country are safe? What do you think governments and communities should do to better protect young people and to support their mental health?
B1 and B2 write 6 to 8 sentences. Use words like rigorous, enforcement, or warning sign.
C1 and C2 write a structured response. Use phrases like, the events in Turkey this week raise fundamental questions about, or it could be argued that the root causes of school violence are systemic rather than individual, or without adequate investment in youth mental health infrastructure, legislative measures alone are insufficient.
And please, read the stories. The links are in the description below. Read the names. Remember who this happened to. And let that care inform how you discuss it.
Because language, real language, isn't just a tool for exams. It's how we make sense of the world. It's how we connect to each other. It's how we say, I see this, I feel this, and I think we can do better.
Subscribe to Miss Julia's English Club right here on YouTube. Every day, a new story, real English, real conversation.
Like the video, hit the notification bell, and leave your thoughtful response in the comments. We read every single one.
From me, Sam.
And me, Leila. Thank you for being here today. Hold the people you love a little closer, and we will see you tomorrow.